Welcome back to a lyrical analysis of 17. In episodes 1 and 2, we explored 17's early albums from their first 3 years. And in this episode, we'll be looking at the albums released in 2018. Director's Cut, We Make You, and You Make My Day. This is an interesting era for 17. It's one in which they revisit, add depth to some earlier themes from their career. It's also an era in which 17's discussion of their own ambitions are noticeably lacking. Instead, each of these EPs focuses on creating a specific mood based around a theme or idea. The first album we're going to discuss is Director's Cut, which came out in February of 2018. Interestingly, Director's Cut was actually envisioned as a repackage for Teenage. I actually did not know this until I looked at a physical copy. I rarely see it explicitly connected to Teenage. And I think some of that is because the message of Director's Cut is quite different than the message of Teenage, where the full album was all about exploration, trying new things, showing off their confidence and ability to change. Director's Cut is very inward looking, and it's focused mainly on a message of reflection and gratitude. The first track on Director's Cut is Thinkin About You. This is an overlooked little gem of a B-side. The music is catchy and bright, and it covers a topic that we don't really see in any 17 songs. As the title suggests, the lyrics find them thinking about someone, a person that they cared for and spent time with, but a relationship never seems to have materialized. So instead of the pain of a breakup that they explore in other songs, here they're left with nostalgia and yearning for what might have been, but never was. The pre-chorus describes how they were never really brave enough to express their feelings for this person, and other parts of the song reinforce that, giving us the idea that they're sort of stuck in their thinking, stuck in their emotions, but they still haven't taken a step towards the other person. The significant repetition in the post-chorus emphasizes the way they're still stuck in their feelings and their thinking and haven't taken any steps forward. We get a lot of echoes of fresh teen songs like Aju Nice or Pretty You. For instance, in the chorus, we have the association of good weather and flowers with the idea of young love. But while in its sound and surface meaning, Thinking About You connects with fresh teen songs of young love, in its depth, it's closer to some sadder, more reflective songs. In the second verse, we get the image of their time together like a flower blooming and then fading away, foreshadowing much of the imagery in Falling Flower. We also have this idea of time sort of dripping and leaking away from them, similar to what we saw in Drift Away. They're so stuck in their thinking about this person. This might remind us of Dust or What Kind of Future, both songs which bitterly accept the idea that the passage of time is not going to miraculously provide answers. But unlike those songs, and unlike other 17 breakup songs like Habit or Don't Wanna Cry, here they keep dwelling on and returning to their memories of this person, not because they are painful, but because they are beautiful. They're still able to find comfort and beauty in their memories together. The song's most unique imagery occurs in the second verse, and it reinforces this idea of the beauty of their memories. They compare thinking about their time with this person as an oil painting, which might just imply beauty or the fact that it was something from the past. But then the line continues, even the way it smears and runs is beautiful, suggesting that they can see the beauty even in the change or end of something. So unlike many other 17 songs, here they are not caught in pain or joy, but somewhere in between. They're able to see the beauty of their memories, but they haven't been able to take a step to turn those memories into anything real for themselves. So they're caught in this state of thinking, of reflection, introducing a theme that's going to run throughout the rest of the EP. The title track of Director's Cut is thanks. The song has almost no imagery or symbolism, instead relying on a direct and heartfelt expression of the song's emotions. Given the depth and nuance of the lyrics, I think it's worth it to take it verse by verse, line by line, to see what is beneath this emotional masterpiece. Unlike other songs in the EP, which could have a romantic interpretation, Thanks is very clearly and explicitly a fan song directed towards Carrots. In verse 1, just like in Thinkin About You, 17 is reminiscing about the past, specifically the way they used to feel in the early days of their career. The lyrics describe how even then they were motivated by their fans, always wanting to be near them. The verse also describes them as playful and maybe even immature. They were unable to understand their feelings or what their fans' support meant for them. The refrain says this directly and goes on to explain that even though they weren't able to say the words, even at a young age, 17 were motivated by the idea of a continuing connection with their fans. The line, "I wanted to be your tomorrow," might remind us of this line in Smile Flower. "So I lived in the today" reinforces what we see in the video, this idea that 17 were always working hard in the present moment in order to provide a better future for themselves and their fans. The Thanks video captures the emotions from behind their work, all of the effort that goes into brainstorming the songs, writing them, recording them, practicing, preparing, performing, all the waiting and the hustling, all of that, the video tells us, is worth it because of their love for their fans. These lines also point out another difference with their past selves, which is they were not reflecting or looking on what had been. They were captured in that present moment, only pushing towards the future. The final two lines of the refrain show us that while they couldn't say it, through their actions, through their hard work, 17 was dedicated to Carrots since the start. The pre-chorus returns to the current moment in which 17 are trying to express themselves, and it offers an apology for the simplicity of their message. They feel like their words are too obvious or stereotypical to convey the emotional weight that they place on them. And as the pre-chorus builds, we finally get the message that 17 has been leading to all along, with the repetition of "thank you." This simple message is repeated twice and then again in a different phrasing before explaining to Carrots that they're thankful for all the time spent together and apart throughout the years. While on the page the lyrics seem very simple and repetitive, music itself is using that repetition to build to a climax. And after the explanation of what they're thankful for, the chorus itself explodes with emotion. Again, the lyrics are simple, just a statement of gratitude, but the melody swells and the pause between saying thank you gives the audience a moment to breathe and builds the tension again. The second verse, once again, is offering excuses for why 17 has not expressed their gratitude before. They seem to feel guilty about this. Like we see in a song like Rock With You, they feel like words are not enough. They were looking for something more beautiful, more impressive to offer their fans, as if something fancier would better hold their full emotions. The implication of the verse, however, is that they've never found anything that can fully express their feelings, and so it's better to express it now in a simple way rather than leave this important message unsaid. And the message is not just the words, it is also the music and the performance. The second refrain is slightly different from the first. Now they are saying that they couldn't express themselves because they were scared or cowardly. and also because they didn't fully understand what emotion it was that they were feeling. The final two lines of the refrain are the same, but because of the preceding lines, saying that carrots have been in their heart from day one now means that they have always loved carrots, but they not only did not understand what their feelings were, but they lacked the words to express it. Their feelings have remained the same, but their understanding of themselves has evolved. And this is a way in which Thanks feels like a reflection on teenage, in which we were exploring 17's dedication to their growth and evolution. In Thanks, however, we feel more of a reference to a song like Shining Diamond, in which they promised us constancy, consistency. Here, 17 shows us that they have both. Who they are and their feelings for their fans remain the same, even while musically they continue to explore. The pre-chorus repeats, but the final line is different, with 17 now revealing that it was their fans who taught them what it meant to love. And this leads us into the second emotional chorus. From the intensity of the chorus, the bridge drops the tension down to a soft, quiet moment, a seeming calm before it quickly builds the tension again. The lyrics in the bridge directly state what the refrain has been implying, that 17's feelings for their fans will never change. Their music may change, as we saw in Teenage. Fans may change their feelings over time, but 17 will not change. And this permanency is enforced by one of the few pieces of imagery in the song, the idea of being engraved in each other's hearts. If something is engraved or inscribed, it cannot be easily erased. The marks and the effect go too deep. So the bridge is telling us that 17 and their fans share an indelible connection, hearts that have been affected by each other, and even if things change, that connection, that effect remains the same. When the chorus explodes once again after the bridge, we finally feel the full weight of 17's gratitude and the reason for the urgency and intensity of that gratitude. They feel they must express their thanks to those who have shaped them, who have changed them in ways that they will never move on from. I love the way the choreography reinforces the message of the chorus. The moves are urgent and frantic, as if their feelings for their fans are bursting from them. The last words of the song are a final plea for their message to reach their fans, for the depth of their gratitude to be understood, despite how simple the message is. Thanks serves as a progression from the message of the Teenage album, in which they were focused on their growth and exploration, and once again reinforces 17's commitment to dedication and constancy, even as they musically explore. Thanks feels like the next step in 17's maturity and progression. In Don't Wanna Cry, we saw them move away from the more simple themes of young love. In Clap and Change Up, we saw them pushing their musical boundaries. And now they're taking a chance to reflect and show not only their musical and performance growth, but their emotional growth as well. In many ways, Thanks is a risky choice for a title track. There's no flashy gimmick or trendy concept. There's just sincerity and love and deep gratitude. And that honesty and emotional vulnerability is what makes it so incredible. If you're interested in an additional perspective on this, I highly recommend checking out the song highlight on Thanks on genius.com. Link in the description. The third track on Director's Cut is Run to You, or the Korean title, I'm Coming to You Right Now. Run to You is a fan favorite, and in my opinion, very justifiably so. This is one of those songs that just feels quintessentially 17. It just captures the essence of their exuberance, their loyalty, and their focus on connection. So it's no surprise at all to find that there's lots of lyrical connections in this song to other 17 songs. The main conceit of the song, of course, is that they're running towards their loved one, just like we see in Pretty You or Boom Boom. While both musically and lyrically, Run to You is pretty separate from those early 17 love songs, it does share their sense of urgency, this feeling that they can't let love escape from them and they have to rush towards it. The track's emphasis on meeting the other person despite all the difficulties in their way reminds us of some performance unit songs. For instance, in Lily Yaba, they are desperate to meet their lover, but the song makes it clear that this is likely impossible. Run to You is also very connected to Highlight. Both songs disregard any difficulties of distance or time. Both songs are convinced that they are going to meet their loved one again. And it's only in meeting together that they have that joy and resolution that they're looking for. We also have some foreshadowing of the song Together. Obviously, both songs are very focused on connection, and lyrically, they have very similar lines about following the compass in your heart. Run to You is also deeply connected to both of the previous songs on the EP. As verse 1 tells us, the action of the song is prompted by their thinking about their loved one, just as we saw in the first song. Unlike in Thinkin About You, in Run to You, they are caught in their desire and yearning for the other person without any resolution. Run to You also connects to the line in Thanks about being engraved in each other's hearts. In Thanks, this is an indication of mutual love. However, in Run to You, the phrasing is, so in these lines, the other person has already declared their love and their connection, which seems to make 17 even more excited and eager to show their love back. Their deep belief in the other person's affection is part of their desire to be with them. Run to You feels like a thematic culmination of the album so far. First we have them thinking, and then we have thinking, and finally we have them taking action. It's a progression from reflection to gratitude and finally into movement. It's also worth noting that this song could be interpreted as romantic, it could be interpreted as a song to fans, or even as a message that 17 is sending themselves. And any of those interpretations are valid, and that's part of the beauty of the song. The final song on Director's Cut is the lovely Joshua Jonghan duet, Falling For You. 17 has a lot of love songs, so it's not surprising that this sweet little track has a number of lyrical connections to previous songs. The way their love interest's appearance feels almost magical might remind us of Pretty You. The repetition in the post-chorus reminds me a little bit of how overwhelmed they are with their feelings in Swimming Pool. But as a song about the very beginning of a crush, before they've worked up the courage to speak to their love interest, this song reminds me most of Hello. So Falling For You has a lot in common with Fresh Teen songs, but it also has the same reflectiveness and softer sound that we see in the rest of Director's Cut. Unlike in most Fresh Teen songs, they're not thinking in vague terms about being with this person that they're interested in. They're actually envisioning what time spent together and what a life together would be like. So we have Fresh Teen almost grown up and mellowed a little bit, showing a softer, more thoughtful side. But the real draw of Falling For You, of course, is not its lyrics, but it is its gentle, comforting sound. It's a rare 17 song where we only have an acoustic backing, very little in the track. You once again. A lot of times when we're talking about vocals in K-pop, we're thinking about ad-libs and high notes and belting. And Falling for You is a reminder that not all good singing needs to be fancy singing. That sometimes we just want to bask in the gentle warmth of some beautiful voices. And so, maybe not surprisingly, for an EP about reflection and thoughtfulness, we end Director's Cut on this very tender song. Despite being just 4 tracks, Director's Cut has a cohesive feel to it. In many ways, the songs feel like a retrospective, looking back at previous themes and ideas with a new depth or perspective. Thinking About You and Falling for You feel like gentle, more mature versions of fresh teen themes. Thanks is filled with a deep humility and gratitude towards fans for their support and for the success that 17 has achieved so far. And Run to You feels like a recommitment, not only to fans, but also among the members themselves, a promise that they will be together even if they are far apart. While all the songs on the EP are very different musically, they share these themes of reflection and affection. After the exploration and ambition of the Teenage album, Director's Cut is a welcome pause, almost as if they're letting their emotions catch up with where they are now, letting their inner feelings manifest into outward love. In the spring of 2018, 17 released their first Japanese mini album with its title track, Call, Call, Call. The lyrics talk about how no matter how difficult their love interest is, no matter how difficult the world itself is, 17 is only a call away. Call, Call, Call is another iteration of the classic 17 theme of connection as the solution for life's difficulties. And in that way, we can connect it to many other 17 songs. The chorus's sense of urgency as they rush to see their loved one is a lot like Boom Boom or Run to You. The first verse's emphasis on their dedication to each other until the very end, despite time or space, might remind us of Highlight or Smile Flower, and foreshadows other songs like Ima. Like Clap and Campfire and Healing, Call, Call, Call acknowledges how difficult, how tiring life can be. And just like Campfire and songs like Lean on Me, Call, Call, Call does not pretend like it can fix life's problems. You can't avoid the difficulties of life, but you can share your problems and in that way find comfort. In a lot of ways, Call, Call, Call is like a predecessor of BSS's album Second Wind. Just like the songs in that album, Call, Call, Call talks about togetherness as comfort, about connection despite time and difference. It acknowledges life's difficulties and presents the artist, 17 or BSS, as your support through those difficulties. So Call, Call, Call feels so very 17 because it connects to this theme that is in so many of their early songs and the songs that come after it. But Call, Call, Call isn't just a copy or an echo of this theme. It very much has its own personality. I think musically, Call, Call, Call stands out for its sort of joyfully urgent tone. And this is, of course, elevated by the choreography, which is filled with over-the-top moves, which emphasize this sense of urgency. And of course, part of what makes Call, Call, Call special is its music video, which is one of my all-time favorite 17 videos. Call, Call, Call has everything you would want in a K-pop music video. It has a concept, which is communicated through the styling. It has a storyline, and it also showcases the song's choreography and performance. And Call, Call, Call has all of that in like the most perfect ways possible. The styling is so fun. having this be a retro concept, but 3 different versions of 60s looks, and each member like fits perfectly in their assigned grouping. Even the background looks great. I love how each rival group has a different looking telephone that fits their style. Call Go Call also has a storyline. These rival biker gangs that are competing to answer your phone call. You can follow the storyline throughout the main scenes, but it's never overwhelming. You never feel like you have to know background information, or if you miss something, you're not going to understand what's going on. I love how the music video's choices feel very specifically tailored to the song. Like having the rap sections in verse 1 and the bridge be portrayed as a standoff between the gangs. Vernon answering the phone in the song is echoed in the video, and we even get this exclamation in the song, "Ow!" reflected in this moment in the video. And the Call 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 music video does such a great job showcasing the fun, over-the-top choreography that goes along with the song. The fact that all of the elements in the Call 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 video, musically, lyrically, visually, editorially, all of these things complement each other and work together. It is a cohesive package that all works together and highlights the song's strengths. In addition to Call Call Call, We Make You includes 3 unit tracks and another B-side, all in a Japanese version. The choice of these 4 particular songs to be given a Japanese version is interesting, and it starts a pattern that we see throughout many of the other Japanese releases, which is that 17 is choosing songs that emphasize connection. Highlight emphasizes the connection between performer and audience. 20 is all about the happiness of being together, and Lean on Me is also about connection as comfort. Love Letter is a song written directly as a message to fans, so again, connection. It feels significant that of all of the choices they could have made, 17 didn't just choose their most popular or best known songs to translate for their Japanese fans, but instead chose ones that represent one of 17's main themes, connection. Some albums are a journey, other albums are a mood. They create the atmosphere and emotions of a particular moment in time. And You Make My Day is one of the best examples of this, capturing the feeling of a carefree summer day and night. Musically, all of the songs are bright and fresh, but they all have their own particular flavor of that fresh, summery sound. In the same way, there are clear lyrical themes and images connecting the album as a whole, but each song feels like its own moment in time. It has its own scene that it manages to evoke. Take, for instance, the title track, Oh My. Just from the first verse, it's already created an image for us. We're stuck indoors on a hot, restless summer night, dreaming of the one we love. Oh My brings us back to the classic fresh teen sound of 17's early years, once again brilliantly capturing the nervous excitement of young love. Like we saw in a lot of early 17 songs, the lyrics feel charmingly awkward, like a conversation that they're having with their crush or inside of themselves as they get ready to approach their crush. Certain lines feel very cliche, others are really interesting metaphors, and others just sound like suggestions of how to hang out together. It's no surprise that there are a number of lyrical callbacks between Oh My and songs like Pretty You and Adore You. One of my favorite sets of lines are Vernon's, where he says, "You're summer without the heat, you're the boiling point to my loneliness." Boiling point, of course, here means a transition into a new state. So their crush is the way that they're going to escape their loneliness. But I love the contrast between the 2 lines because Vernon says that they're summer without the heat. And of course, to reach a boiling point, what you need is more heat. So their crush is both hot and cool at the same time. Which reminds me of his lines in Pretty You, where his crush is ice cold and yet able to melt him. So Oh My fits perfectly with 17's other early fresh teen songs, but it has its own personality as well. It's setting on a hot summer night, and the way that the chorus especially repeatedly asks questions gives it a sense of restlessness. The music echoes this a little bit. Within the verses, there are places that stop and start, or the clunky piano that the choreo highlights. These things add to this sense of restlessness, of sort of captured energy, much like we might feel if we were stuck indoors on that hot summer night. After several albums of exploration and experimentation, Oh My brings us back to the classic fresh teen sound of their early years. It musically sets up the brightness that we're going to see in the rest of the album. And lyrically, it sets up some of the themes. If Oh My is a restless summer night, then Holiday is a bright summer day. The music continues the bright, fresh sound of Oh My, but this track sounds even more cheerful and fun. I especially love the inclusion of the flute. The whole song just sounds like a vacation. And that's what the lyrics are about, spending time with somebody special on a day off. Unlike the hesitance we see in Oh My, in Holiday, the lyrics come across as very confident in their love. They're teasing them, comfortably holding hands. Togetherness is the theme of the whole song. Several times in the lyrics, it emphasizes that it doesn't matter if they get somewhere tropical, it doesn't matter where they go together, it's just being together itself that is the holiday. My favorite part of Holiday's lyrics, though, is the way with just a few phrases, they conjure up this tropical scene in our minds. Even though they're saying they might not go there, we still get the mention of coconut, palm trees, Malibu, paradise, and the description of them moving through the crowd as if they are swimming. All of these things set a tropical, beachy vibe that amplifies the imagery in the song. Holiday's theme of togetherness, of course, connects it to many other 17 songs. For me, it feels closest to a song like Monday to Saturday, with its casual language and focus on hanging out together. Or to Beautiful, with its idea of two people feeling separate from the crowd because they're able to spend a special time together. And maybe closest of all to Healing, in its celebration of rest time spent together. Holiday is the perfect continuation of Oh My's theme of summer love, a theme that is expanded on even more in vocal units Come to Me. Unlike the hustle and bustle and excitement described in Holiday, Come to Me paints a picture of a serene summer day in a shady forest. In Come to Me, vocal unit compares their lover to a tree, meant here as a symbol of protection. A tree can provide shade, protection from the sun, and it also can be a safe space, a place that you know you can always return to. Their lover is like a tree because they provide quiet protection and comfort. In a similar way, in verse 2, their lover is compared to a parent or other caregiver who has dried their tears. There's also an interesting tension between the description of the lover as a tree and the chorus's call for their lover to come to them, get closer to them, something that a tree obviously cannot do. The song goes back and forth between expressing gratitude for the comfort and support that the other person has given them, much like we see in Thanks, and also wanting to provide that comfort and security for the other person in return, like we see in a song like Call, Call, Call or Lean on Me. The last bit of imagery I want to look at is in these lines. Comparing their sadness disappearing when they're with their comfort person to snows disappearing in the spring is perfect for a song set in the summer. Uji, who along with Bumzu is the only lyricist on the song, has described his ideal romantic relationship as a reciprocal partnership one in which his partner is giving back to him in the same way that he is giving to them. And that sounds exactly like what we hear in Come to Me. The song is full of joy and gratitude for what the other person has provided them, and a deep need to provide back to the person they love. Come to Me deepens the theme of love that we see in the album by taking a look at the joy and beauty that a mature, established relationship can bring. While musically it fits in well with the sweet, fresh teen sound of the album, lyrically it has a much quieter, deeper strength. You Make My Day is clearly about enjoying the brief season of summer, and that's the theme that What's Good picks up on, enjoying the moment. What's Good is a little bit of a deceptive song, like a lot of hip hop unit tracks. It feels just a casual, upbeat track, but there's actually a lot of nuance and depth to the lyrics. As we saw in Trauma and will continue to see in their future tracks, each member of the hip hop unit uses their verse to show a little bit of their personality, to show their own take on the song's theme. Vernon's verse starts off the song, and his interpretation of enjoying the moment is, as he says, going with the flow. His verse creates less of a specific message and more of just a pattern, a beat for us to keep moving and feeling the vibes. His conversational tone, easy flow, and even his mix of English and Korean words are all creating this relaxed flow state that he wants us to feel. In this way, Vernon's verse reminds me a lot of the joyful nonchalance of Check-In. Wanu, on the other hand, has a very specific message he wants to deliver. Wanu wants us to accept that difficulty and pain are part of life, but also that they're things that we can work through and get satisfaction from solving. It's an interesting message in a song about enjoying the moment, but I think his point here is that you can enjoy things more if you know that bad things will happen, but also trust that they will end, trust that you can get through them, then you can enjoy the good times. Wanu's verse feels like he has learned from some of the difficulties he expressed in his verses in Space and Trauma, and now he's able to share this life advice. Mingyu's verse, on the other hand, reminds me of Drift Away. He's exploring the complicated nature of time, the way in which life can sometimes feel very slow or very fast. He describes times where he thought things had slowed or even ended, and then suddenly it was full speed ahead. And his conclusion from this push and pull of time is that eventually everything will end, everything will change. Instead of worrying about fitting some preconceived notions, instead you should focus on creating the life that you want for yourself. He imagines us as the artists of our own life. We can't control everything that happens or the speed at which it happens, but we are still the ones creating the overall picture. S-Scoop's verse takes some of these concepts to another level. Because we don't control time, there's always going to be places where we are moving faster or slower than what other people are doing or what is expected of us. His solution to this, however, is not to change ourselves, but instead to keep our own pace. Like Mingyu, he's encouraging us to define our lives for ourselves, to go at our own pace rather than trying to conform or squeeze ourselves into others' expectations. His lines at the end remind me a lot of his verse in Lean on Me. In both songs, he's offering to hold some of the difficulty for his listeners. And What's Good being aimed directly at its listeners marks a change in what we've seen from Hip Hop Unit. Up until this point, the unit has played with a number of musical styles, but two main themes. They've had the theme of young love and also the theme of ambition and its dark side. What's Good, however, is neither of those things. It is encouragement handed directly to the listener. It's as if they've taken some of the difficult times they talked about in Space and Trauma, and working through them are now able to offer this comfort to their fans. The song's message of enjoying the moment is not meant to be flippant or dismissive of real concerns in life, but instead is a confirmation that your own choices matter. And the hip hop unit hopes that one of those choices will be to enjoy yourself. Holiday and Come to Me evoke a summer's day, but the performance team's song, Moonwalker, brings us back to the setting that we saw in Oh My, a summer night. But unlike the restless heat that we feel in Oh My, Moonwalker evokes the cool beauty of a moonlit night with two people alone. The lyrics emphasize the intimacy of the setting, how private these people feel, as if a moment has been created just for them. The song's guiding imagery, as we see in the title, is moonlight. But what does it actually mean to be a moonwalker? The first verse describes how in this intimate moment together, their feelings are growing and growing so much. They feel almost as if they're transported beyond reality, as high as if they're walking on the moon. This is not the first song in which performance unit has danced for someone in the moonlight. We see that as a main point in Yaba. But here in Moonwalker, it is their closeness with the other person that elevates their emotions to such a level. The repetition and urgency in the pre-chorus suggests that even though they have repeatedly been with this other person, that does not dull their desire, but in fact increases it. The lyrics and references in verse 2 feel quintessentially performance unit for me. Referring to the stars sparkling above them like a chandelier connects with the theme of moonlight and evokes the image of dancing in a ballroom. We often see references to dance and movement in performance unit songs. The layering of Theate and Dino's voices in the second half of the verse really amplifies it. And it goes along really well with the line about a plane engine starting. So that gives us another metaphor for flying into the sky, but also includes that cool sound effect, which is something that reminds me of a little bit of, say, swimming pool. We can't leave Moonwalker without talking about these three other images that are brought up, that this special moment that they have together feels like being born, like being loved for the first time, or like a flower blooming for the first time. To be honest, especially the second of those reminds me of the famous Madonna song. Whether or not these are meant to be sexual, they are definitely very sensual, and they suggest how important and new and beautiful this feeling that they're having is. In this way, Moonwalker is a great example of what 17 does really well in creating songs that could be interpreted in a sexual way. I mean, this song is about a intimate nighttime encounter with two people, but everything is shrouded in enough metaphor and imagery that we have some plausible deniability. Maybe this is just about their joy of being together. Regardless, Moonwalker and its performance especially captures the magical feeling of being with someone you love under the moonlight. The final gorgeous track on You Make My Day is Our Dawn is Hotter Than Day. This track manages to weave together both the imagery and themes from the rest of the mini album. Just like in Oh My and Moonwalker, Our Dawn is Hotter Than Day is set on a summer night, and the first verse immediately evokes all the beautiful sounds and sights that we can imagine for such a scene. Because the first verse uses this imagery so well, all the chorus needs to do is repeat the word summer for us to be instantly transported to the relaxation and excitement that can come on a summer night. It's the perfect way to wrap up this theme of summer joy that the album has explored. But the stars and the moonlight and the fireworks, all of these things are not merely creating images in our mind. They are the stage for the connection that is happening in the song. The nature is not simply a setting, it is also connecting the singer and their lover. In the chorus, 17 describes themselves as engraved on the summer night. Here, they are putting their names into the scene. They are becoming part of the setting. The moon becomes the spotlights focusing on their connection. And that connection between these two people and the joy that it brings them is the focus of the whole song. Both Wonu and Mingyu have lines about hands touching, a physical connection to reference the larger emotional connection happening here. The chorus not only brings back the album's theme of summer love, but also hints at the impermanence of everything and the importance of memory. There's a tension in this seemingly simple chorus. In a phrase that might remind us of thanks, they describe themselves as carved into the summer night. This memory is going to be permanently part of them. At the same time, they're questioning how things will be in the future. How will it be when it returns suggests that we know things have to change. We know this night can't last forever. This summer can't last forever. So what will the future look like? This question doesn't seem overly sad or frightened, however. Instead, in the question itself, there's the reassurance that although times will change, good things will return. It reminds me of Smile Flower, this sense that we know things will change, and yet we are determined to always keep the things that matter. As we see in a number of 17 songs, for instance, Campfire or My, Uji and 17 understand the importance of memory and its value in a constantly changing world. The second verse continues this idea of time spent together on a summer night. The imagery of smiling together under the moonlight is certainly a favorite that will come back in future songs. Then in the second half of the verse, Vernon's lines take us in a different direction, one that weaves in the themes brought up in What's Good. Vernon frames this time spent together when the rest of the world is asleep as something of a rebellion, a way to reclaim some space for your true selves as opposed to subjecting yourselves to the expectations of others. This theme of rejection of the world's expectations, we started to see a little bit in Teenage, and we've seen it expand a little bit more in this album. And it's going to blossom in the future with songs like Left and Right, Home Run, Do Re Mi. Vernon is often the one most strongly articulating this point of view. The song ends with simple declarations of love and dedication, a commitment to being together and making each other happy every day. And that's truly what the title of this track means. Their dawn, meaning their future, is brighter than it is now because they are together and they are dedicated to staying together. Our Dawn is Hotter Than Day manages to do so much in such a beautiful little package. The song somehow makes you feel the way a beautiful summer night feels. And not only does the song feel as euphoric as a summer night, just shows us the depth of 17's thinking, their understanding of the importance of memory and of commitment to love and togetherness. Our Dawn is Hotter Than Day allows you to not only imagine a perfect summer night, but also feel the depths of 17's love. So no wonder it's a song that Carrots treasure so much. The album You Make My Day is remarkably cohesive without being one note. Musically, all the songs feel joyful and bright, but they have their own distinct musical color. Some of the songs are more upbeat and fun, while others incorporate wistful and nostalgic elements. And just like the music, the lyrics also reference 17's original fresh teen concept. In You Make My Day, however, we have a deeper, more nuanced look at love, including songs that show greater commitment and intimacy. The themes of the album emphasize that intimacy by creating a sense of the lovers versus the world itself. The overall album imagery mainly focuses on light, with songs using sunlight as a metaphor for celebration and joy, and moonlight as symbolic of secrets and intimacy. In You Make My Day, summer is a time to celebrate and also deepen the connections that are already there. 17's releases in 2018 show a deepening of their lyrical themes. Each of these releases creates a particular mood that encourages the listeners to sit with and explore a particular set of emotions. Director's Cut brings a welcome tone of reflection to the discography, while We Make You returns to 17's main theme of connection. You Make My Day returns to a bright, fresh teen sound, but brings a more nuanced understanding of love and joy. After the exploration and transformation that we saw in 17's 2017 releases, Director's Cut, We Make You, and You Make My Day are a return to some of 17's original themes, in some ways a reconfirmation of their identity. But even as they return to their lyrical roots, these albums also show us how far they've come.